Hello everyone, Sarah here at Three Little Potters, and I have been watching a lot of other people's kiln unloads lately, and everybody's doing fall combos, and I don't have a go-to fall glaze combo. So I've just been going through sort of my glazes on my shelf and picking out glazes that I think have potential for a fall combo: curry, cordovan, oyster, shallot. I have ginger. So I picked out so many glazes. So what this video is going to be is I am going to do some of these on video, and then some I'll just show the combos afterwards on the photo table. But I think I'm going to do maybe 30 different potential fall glaze combos. See if we can stumble on something interesting for your fall sort of catalog of pottery. Look at all these fall glazes with potential. But before I start that, I have to wax some bottoms. I have more underneath the table too that I could potentially put fall glazes on if I decided to. So I do occasionally get this question, do I wax my bottoms? Yes, I do. This is a container of the Laguna wax from my local clay store. This is not my favorite wax brush. I usually have another one that I use. I'll see if I can find it. I use one that's slightly bigger, and what I do is I actually cut the bristles on the side to taper it more to a point. This doesn't take long to do, but it is kind of fiddly. So the first thing I do is I do a circle around the outside when my brush still has kind of a lot of wax on it. And then I just fill in that inside of the circle. So one careful outer rim. And I think you get better at it as you go. The first few times I've done this, I had, drips, or you have too much on your brush. So finding a brush that holds just the right amount of wax for the surface that you're doing is really helpful. All right, so I'm going to repeat this a few hundred more times and then I'll be done. Thought I'd just show a little bit of mid-glazing so that you can see how chaotic I am. It kind of overflows here and then up there. I know, my studio's messy. Glaze buckets down here, nebula blue, June purple. I am trying to dip studio white. And if we go this way, those on the front of this wheel are all dipped in micro pearl. So when I'm doing multiple coats, I usually try to leave it by the actual container so that I remember what I was doing. Oh, is there a light right there? All right, everybody. It's day 2 of glazing for me. I stayed up late last night. I got some base coats on a lot of things. There's a lot of mess always. I like to keep it real on this channel. I don't usually clean up for you guys. This is just my normal working studio, and obviously I should clean it more. Yeah, so I was considering last night as I was falling asleep, what I'm really looking for in a fall combo. And I think for me, it's like, I love the gradient of fall leaves. I love when you get like the perfect fall leaf and it's like red around the edge and then it slowly transitions to like a bright golden yellow. I think for me, those are my favorite fall colors, is sort of that red to yellow. I'd been thinking that I wanted to do more, purple and goldenrod, and I do want to capture that in some combos, but I'd love to get a good leafy hue of like a vibrant red to yellow. So I was thinking, as far as colors go for that, I was thinking I might try something like fire brick on the outer edge, sangria, autumn purple, and possibly sunbeam and maybe curry in the middle to sort of give that like brownish to brightish gradient. So, I feel like some of the spectrum combos, like sangria in particular, over white can be really a little bit electric. So I don't know. I don't know if it'll pass over. I feel like if it's a very bright color, it gives more of that summer vibe than it does that autumn deep rich vibe. So I'm gonna see what those colors sort of come up with. I have some different things here. Last night I did, this is coated in eggplant, 2 coats. And this is coated in papaya, 2 coats. So I'm gonna do some things on top of that. What do I have down here? I have gray down here, but I think that'll be a different, this just has studio white. So I was thinking I'd probably do yellow, purple. Maybe I'll do my leaf combo on this. I have some other, is that a white bowl? This is a white bowl. Maybe leaf combo on this. I also have some black base coats done so that I can do something that's even more moody maybe. On another note this morning, if you are making any of these logos to put on your mugs, make sure when you're designing you don't make that outer edge too thin. Do you see where mine's chipped on the bottom? I never sold these, but this is for my other business, and I honestly, they were so much work to make, I kept them all for myself, so I have like 10 of these mugs. But yeah, I wish I designed it a little bit thicker. I like having that outer rim to really set it off, but that outer rim needs to be thicker. Otherwise, it does not stand up to the dishwasher. Okay. All right, I'm on this. Okay. So one of the big glazes I'm going to use today is Autumn Purple. And I just absolutely love Autumn Purple. I know that last big Spectrum release, we got so many new glazes to choose from, but I still am going back and buying Autumn Purple. I think that that glaze stands out to me, even among the new ones. I think it's got, when you're layering it with other glazes, it has a real warmth to its purple that some of the other ones, they do and they don't have. I feel like the color is a little bit nuanced with the Autumn Purple. So yes, let's put, saying that, I think I'm going to put a bit of Autumn Purple on this papaya bowl and see how that goes. Now, as to how much I should put on, papaya is so beautiful by itself. I could leave this bowl just with 2 layers of papaya on it and know that it's going to sell. But I definitely would like to have a little bit of something more going on. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do to this. So 2 layers of papaya, and then that's the Autumn Purple over top. And I have nowhere to set anything. Okay, so whenever I'm doing a combo with a big piece, I will often do some of my small ring dishes alongside of it so that I can have a, well, more to sell. But no, so that, you know, with the little pieces, despite whatever effort you might put in, the glaze tends to come out thicker because it's just a very small area for your brush to be. So it's almost like seeing what the combo would be if you were, at least for me, less stingy with your glaze application. So I definitely like to do an extra combo. This is Sunbeam that I'm putting in the middle here. So this is a dish that was dipped in micro pearl, and this one was dipped in Studio White. And the plan is Sunbeam, and I'm going to do Autumn Purple around that rim and that intersection there once it dries. So for this, I think I'm going to probably go light to dark. It's a planter. I dipped it in Studio White. I did tape off the holes. It does have those 3 holes in it. So basically, I dipped it up to here, and then I flip it and dip just this rim here. So this raw clay seems to be something that people have told me plants like. So I try to tape off my holes so that those are, you know, well protected and glazed on the inside, but that the inside is still plant friendly, extra plant friendly. So the eggplant, I've really been up in the air about what I should do with this one. Eggplant's a really dark color, so sometimes it's hard to know what's going to really stand out over the dark color. And I think if I can find it, I'm going to put some parakeet on this. Now, you'll recall from the yellow video that parakeet has a lot of pigment in this glaze. It's a glaze that can hold its own over a dark color. So I'm hoping, and it has a whole lot of variation to it. You know, eggplant is one of those glazes that's a really solid purple. It doesn't do a lot. I think it's, you know, probably made with some form of purple stain, right? It looks purple. It doesn't, you know, change a whole lot when it's over or under things. Which says to me probably, you know, not a ton of rutile, not a ton of other things in that recipe that's going to affect other glazes. So I think I'm going to put the sort of opposite glaze in, which is parakeet, which has a ton of movement. You know, the risk here is that it might crawl, or it's more likely that it might blister or get those little spots on it. But we'll see. I think eggplant's a pretty stable glaze, that it might be an okay base with parakeet, but I don't believe I've ever tried these two together before. So I'm going to do a line here. And this has texture on the inside. I'm going to lightly brush some there. We'll see what that does. And then I think I'm going to do something different on the rim. Let me think on that for a second. All right, I think I'm going to just put a bit of soft red on the top. Honestly, I don't know what that's going to do. Soft red is not a glaze that I have done a ton of work with, so still a new glaze that I'm sort of testing out. I'm wondering if I should do more parakeet. Maybe. Globbing on a little bit more parakeet. Okay. We'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, that one's ready for the kiln. Now I'm wondering if parakeet might be a nice addition to this bowl here. Okay. All right, I think I'm going to do bands of color overlapping slightly. So that's parakeet. I think I'll fill in the very center with sunbeam. I'm going to let that dry. And then I'll do a band of curry. I'm going to do, I think my mid layer is going to be a band of autumn purple. So I'll do that. So if anyone noticed, I had my Etsy shop on vacation for a month, and just while I was doing a lot of wedding photography, and I was like, you know, after people are always saying, oh, shop on vacation, kiss of death. And I was like, oh, I wonder how long it'll take for people to realize that my shop is open and start, you know, buying things again. And the answer to that question was 2 minutes. People they were waiting, I guess, for me to list more ring dishes, since that had been out of stock for a while. So yes, 2 minutes, my shop was back open, and basically, even though I made no announcements or told anybody that that was happening, most everything that I listed that morning was sold by that night. So yeah, I'm getting more popular. But my wedding photography is also getting more popular. Good problems to have, but you know, time management becomes hard. In the interest of time management, I've sort of been thinking about what commercial glazes I might buy in dipping format to see if I could speed myself up. This little dish right here has rose quartz on it. I'm wondering if rose quartz is stable enough as a dipping glaze to be sort of a base layer for some other glazes for me. You'll recall my ivy tests and how disastrous that was, and how many pots have been on my shelf because that glaze is just, it's really runny. So I think what I'm looking for are very stable base glazes that I can dip in and layer other glazes over top. Wondering if rose quartz might be one of those. So that's kind of where I'm at with that, is wondering if I pay a little bit more up front for these glazes, will I speed up my overall time and therefore be able to up my productivity, which is possible. So rose quartz is going to get just a bit of sunbeam on that rim. So and this is just a small test that I'm doing. So I'm going to do one Amico glaze over the rose quartz, and then I want to do one spectrum glaze over it to see if there's any layering potential there. So yeah, I'll do the autumn purple over it too. And some of these buckets of glaze, it's hard. It's like $100 investment, and you're like, oof. That's a big commitment to the color pink. I mean, I like the color pink, but that's a big commitment. It's a lot of pink. Okay. All right, this is dry enough. I'm doing a splotch of sunbeam in the middle. Sangria is a glaze that I found likes to be just a tiny bit hotter, and I am planning, oh, my sangria is way too thick. I'll see if I can just brush it on lightly. I don't, yes, if your glaze comes out like that, then that's a little thick. Anyway, what I was saying is that sangria likes to be a little bit hotter, and my plan is to put all these fall colors on that sort of top shelf so that I get to see it when I open it, and there's like a wow, it's all fall colors moment. But I don't know if sangria, what I'm saying is this one may need a refire. This might be one of those ones that's right on the edge, sort of like that ivy and micro pearl combo that I felt needed just 5 more degrees of temperature. This may end up being something along those lines. So usually you don't try to drag your brush on, but because sangria is so thick, I am dragging it. Rather than getting up to the sink and mixing in a whole bunch of water. I will do that in the future, but I just, not right this second. All right. Okay, that is the sangria. And now that I'm looking at it, I feel like I need something else here to go from purple to yellow. I feel like I need a little bit more of something orange. Maybe sunrise. And then I'm going to do a band of fire brick on this outside. All right, I've got my sunrise out, and I'm going to try to get that in. Hopefully not touching too much wet glaze. All of these glazes are a little bit thick. I guess they've been dehydrating in my room while I've been doing weddings. Okay. It looks cool. It looks like something that's going to melt into something good. Fire brick is another glaze that I really haven't tested well. I know there's so many videos that I can, so many glaze review videos to do. I'm going to go here with that. All right, and this I think I'm going to leave right here. I know, or should I go down further? Maybe if I go really thin down further. Because yeah, I don't want so much bare white showing, but at the same time I don't want this to be on my kiln shelf. So I'm thinking that in going thin down here with that fire brick, it's going to go a little bit brown over the white. And I don't mind that in this case. I feel like sort of that brown is part of the fall color palette. So I am doing some more brown combos this time around. Okay, this is ready for the kiln. Ooh, I can see one spot that I could do more of. It's funny when you're watching yourself on camera, you can at least see more things happening. Okay. Ooh, I'm super excited about that one. That's going to be great. Ooh, okay. Let's see what else I want to open up. I was surprised at how many glazes I own that I thought could work well with fall combos. So, all right, amethyst looks like it needs some mixing. When you open your glaze and it's all mucky. It's yuck. Okay, give me a minute. So this bowl here has been dipped in Floating Sunset. It's sort of one of my favorite brown glazes that are out there. That's an Old Forge Creations recipe that you can find on glazy.org, and I definitely do love this recipe. I love it with all kinds of sort of modifiers, dirty snow or light flux or dark flux or any sort of fluxy glaze over top of it usually works out really well. I have not done a ton of layering with this glaze, and I am very dangerously putting amethyst on it. That's Coyote's amethyst I'm putting on right now. I'm hoping to bring out a little bit of purple. I don't know what's going to happen. I may have regrets because this is a fairly large piece that I'm gambling with. I have a lot of, well, as you recall, I did that fast throwing of 50 bowls, so I guess I didn't spend that long making them. It can be a little bit dangerous. So yes, this is going to be amethyst over Floating Sunset, and then I'm going to put some dirty snow on this. This bowl has 2 coats of speckled plum. Yes, speckled plum. It's always weird to me that a speckled plum, I would expect to have the dark spots in it, but it doesn't. It's peppered plum that has the dark spots in it, and speckled plum is just kind of a solidish color. So I don't really know. I haven't done many combos with speckled plum, but I felt like it's that sort of reddish purpley. I'm gonna go sunbeam. Who knows? We're living dangerously today. I'm hoping it'll sort of lighten it up and maybe hopefully not go a terrible brown. Maybe it'll just be an exciting color. It's so funny, you know, when you take color theory and things, you have like all these ideas about like paint color mixing and things like that, but when it translates to glaze, just because of the different minerals and elements and everything, that you'll get very different reactions between the glazes, and you'll just be like, what? You know, sometimes it just feels like yellow red makes blue. You're like, but it's not quite as extreme, but sometimes there really are weird reactions and colors, especially interesting with commercial glazes, right? Because you don't know the formula. You're like, huh, well, that's odd. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in the kiln like this, I think, and we'll see what happens. I'm gonna do eggplant and sangria on this little one. Hopefully it won't crawl. Interested to see. Yeah, maybe eggplant could be another good base dipping glaze for me. Although I do love my June purple so much. Okay, maybe I'll do a test. So that's eggplant and sangria. For this bowl here, it was dipped in Studio White, and I am doing a full coat of ginger over the Studio White. And then I think I'm going to do green tea. Okay, I've just brought over a little bit of my dirty snow glaze to put on some of these pieces too. Dirty snow, if you're not familiar with this recipe, it's a flux glaze that is heavy on the titanium, so it has a bit of a lightening effect to other glazes. So sometimes if I'm working with dark combos, I'll use that to sort of bring out some more definition in the darker glazes. So this is our amethyst and Floating Sunset. And I am doing a very generous coat on the inside. Well, not generous, it was one brush coat. I'm gonna leave this outside. Well, okay, this is what we're gonna do. It's gonna be a very wispy application there, because I know this will run onto my kiln shelf. Hopefully that will be enough to keep it up here, but I'm not positive on that. My red crawls glaze has finally come in, so I am going to try the red crawls over June purple. If you recall, my June purple with the purple crawl recipe came out really, really well. So I'm hoping that I get a similar reaction with this. And again, going pretty quick with these layers because there's a point where it's too dry and starts to pull up. So, oops. While I'm waiting, I'm also going to do, this is my night glaze, Hanson with 5% best black stain in it. And I'm going to try the crawls over that and see what we end up with. I may do a big version of this and see how it goes. It might be really cool looking. Just on the edge of that dryness. Oh, and I forgot my own lesson of wiping the bottom before I did this. Oh! And I think the bottom does need to be wiped. Oh, I'm gonna have to be very, very careful. It's easy to knock off the dried glaze. The bottom isn't too bad. That might work. And this was a dip of June purple with 3 brush coats of red crawl over it. Papaya with autumn purple and just a little bit of ancient jasper on that rim. And that was 2 brush coats of papaya, then 1 brush coat of autumn purple, and just a little teeny bit of that jasper. So right in the center here we had some sunbeam, then parakeet, the sunrise layer here, autumn purple here, sangria here, and a little on that edge. And then this outer section is fire brick red, and that is all over Studio White. This bowl that I was expecting to be not blue was amethyst over floating sunset. So a dip in floating sunset, then a brushed layer of amethyst and some dirty snow. Just a little bit of marks from where I just sanded it. Speckled plum, 2 brushed coats, and then sunbeam on that rim. Sunbeam really not holding that yellow hue, going a little bit more whitish there. 2 brushed coats of ancient jasper. The papaya was just on this rim, and then it had some wisps of dirty snow. This was Merlot mixed glaze, and it has 1 brushed coat of fuzzy peach on the top section. Eggplant, parakeet, and soft red really not coming out as expected. Just wasn't thinking that that was going to go quite so blue with the soft red. In Tiger's Eye, this was 2 brushed coats of that and then some eggplant up on that rim. The eggplant not really holding much purple. It's definitely subtle. I don't mind this combo, but I was definitely thinking it would come out brighter. Thanks for watching some of my fall combos, everyone. It's been, I haven't finished this video in a while. I've since done some more combos. The birch, cordovan, and dirty snow combo. Floating sunset there with some dirty snow. And this one I liked too. This was sandstone with speckled plum. And I still don't feel like I have found the fall combo that I'm in love with. You know, there were some pretty combos in this video, but I'm still looking. I'm still looking for that perfect fall combo. I guess I'll keep looking until winter starts and then switch over to some like whites and blues. I feel like there's such a great supportive community here on YouTube for potters, and I just love being a part of it and, you know, getting to interact with other YouTube creators, other potters. Definitely you know, sometimes you're working alone in your studio and it can feel very isolated, and being part of this sort of YouTube pottery community is very fulfilling for me. So definitely keep the comments coming, and I'm so happy that you are here watching my channel. Like and subscribe if you haven't. Have a great day, everyone.